Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another delightful episode, another Minecraft episode. This is my name is Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and it is my role here and privilege and just honor to discuss all things well-being and, of course, practicing thought control. It's all about thoughts come first and feelings come second, and then, of course, actions or behaviors last. So literally what goes in dictates our lives. It's just so important. So today I'm really kind of shooting from the hip, as they say, at this gorgeous Champlain College campus. Just look at that. Beautiful buildings. Got it all the way this way too. Sorry if you need to dram me, I didn't mean to do that to you. Yeah, so Post-Rona, the coronavirus, it's weird because I've been chatting certainly with my students who they're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. And that said, they're still recovering, definitely. We just talked about it like 20 minutes ago. With follow-through, with deadlines, and I send a lot of announcements like that. It doesn't matter. It's they're doing the very best they can in the Twilight zone. And then I was just talking with our wonderful postman. I just said it to him, Steve, and he's like, "Yeah, it's real. It's so crazy that we're in this post-pandemic, but it's not really over. It's kind of over, sort of over. There's still a lot of a lot of unpredictability in the air, and definitely some uncertainty in the air, and we're all feeling it." And then what prompted me to do this video was not only my students, because I don't think ever in 12 years had so much of a handful of them so in the weeds like this, especially since I'm kind of a hand holder, to be honest with you. And it's not their fault. I mean, it's just there's still a lot of anxiety in the air in the world, and I think that's largely it. And also, I've had a chat with a bunch of my colleagues lately, and I mean, we're chatty, we're friends too. And I said, is it just me? Or is it still weird? I mean, it's so weird. So then out it came, and this is a bunch of conversations that's rolling into this. Oh, the gazebo's free. That's fun. So we were sitting there and with two of my colleagues, and we're saying, it just seems like some of these easy things, or would be easy things, making a dentist appointment. One of my colleagues was talking about going on a run, and she's saying, "Look, I got my running stuff on. I've going on a run. That was an hour ago, and then an hour more goes, and I guess I'm not going on a run now." And it's things that just seem so simple that just aren't happening. And then I shared, and then another colleague jumped in on that too, that it's just so hard to complete basic tasks, like say the dentist, or just follow through with a phone call. And it's not like, sometimes we're forgetting, but sometimes we remember and just can't seem to dial the phone. That's been me. And whenever we had two electricians come and do some work, this is going to sound so ridiculous, and they did a fine job. They did a great job, but they were separate, which I didn't realize either. That's part of the issue. But very nice men, very good work. And so I don't write a lot of checks now, so I went to write the one a check and mail it, and that was fine. I did that, and then I realized that was my last check. I didn't have any more checks. And with my wiring, as you can imagine, there are empty checkbooks kind of everywhere, in my glove box, under the bed, on the roof, in the yard, so to speak. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I'm out of checks, and I got to mail the other guys. I'm like, oh, that's one more step, because now I got to call the bank, I got to order checks, they got to come in the mail, then I got to remember to send it. And that all sounds so ridiculous, because that's not usually scattered as me, yes, but I'm not a procrastinator, which I chalk up to being the proud prodigy of two alcoholic parents. This big loud something just went by. So, but then I said that to one of my colleagues too, and this is two different conversations, two different colleagues, and they said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that. It's that one more step thing that just is getting in the way, and this is just the everyday." And then this morning again, the other colleague was saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're saying that too. I just tried to do this and that, and I just, for whatever reason, just can't go through with it." And so here's the thing. I came up with a couple things for my students because they were talking about it today, and also a couple of them were sort of kind of admittedly feeling out of sorts, and they said that. It was right after we did our gratitude, and so that rolled into a really great teaching moment because, as you know, with in Minecraft, we do a minute. Every single class starts out with a minute of mindfulness, followed by the gratitude go around, and they write in their gratitude journals 3 things every single day, not just the class days, with the words "I am grateful for," because that's extremely important to get the brain to rewire. The neurons need to know what to do, just like toddlers. I am grateful for. I am grateful for. I am grateful for. Very Seligman. And then about 21 days it takes for a regular habit to shift. And so we're talking about that, and a couple of them were admittedly just not doing very well and kind of struggling for things to be grateful for. So it was a good teaching moment, because it's good to fake it till you make it, as they say, right? And so we talked about having a default gratitude, which may sound silly, but it's actually important. And so, like when you're really struggling, because usually it just rolls right out of me. The sunset, my husband, the kids came for the weekend, walk in the woods with Giovanni, my health, all that stuff. If you're really feeling low and really struggling to find something on that day, the default can really help you fake it till you make it. So my default is eyesight. My youngest brother-in-law can't see, and he's actually just turned 50, 2 kids, and I can't even imagine one day in his life, and he is in a very good mood most of the time. But I'm thinking, like, you can't just get in a car and drive. I'm a big freedom person, and your freedom is so limited, and I can probably count on 3 fingers the times I've seen him in a bad mood. And it's such a project for him to walk out the door and go get pizza and bring it back for the kids. Imagine trying to count the money, the whole thing. It's just like something we take for granted. And so my personal default is my eyesight. And then we also talked about fake it till you make it, because that is a psychological thing. It's also often used in the 12-step programs. And we're not saying it's a cure-all. I was very clear with my students that wow, it's just so gorgeous here. It's not meant to be a cure-all. It's not meant to be wave a wand type of thing. And it can help, because often the going through the motions part, when that's the best we can do, can really, really help. And so I remember some people back in the day, talking about, this is a long time ago. I was like 12, I think, when one of my parents went into AA, and the stories I would hear, and that sometimes they would have one of the fellow members of AA kind of help them, pull their shoulders back. It might have been dressing up, because that's another good fake it till you make it strategy, is to get dressed like you're caring and respecting yourself. Put something nice on, even if you're hanging around the house. That's another thing. But the default gratitude helps with that too, and also change our words. Have a plan when you go out in the day and somebody says, "How are you?" Just say, feeling good. And I don't want to push inauthentic behavior, for sure. Though this can, depending on your comfort level, this can also really help. Our words can help. And remember that the thoughts lead to feelings, lead to behavior. So it is super important on these days. It is always important, but I usually use the word always. It is super important to practice thought control anyway. And on these days when we're feeling fogged over, and just not focused, and maybe say a little down, is to work on really fact checking the thoughts, changing the language, and then default gratitude, and fake it till you make it. And again, not saying it's a cure-all at all, and to also acknowledge. I'm a big fan of acceptance, because I think that's where I'm at, and that's been with a lot of the conversations with my colleagues. Is just, we've been slowing it down a little bit, just a little bit, because we're all fogged over, and it's okay, as they say, it's okay to not be okay, which sounds cliche, but it's really true, right? And so it's set the bar is another one I do, is set the bar, do my best. That's the one we can reach, no matter what anybody says or does. We can reach to do our best, because the P word, perfection, is self-abuse of the highest order, which I believe Anne Schloff said that. That's who said that. Perfectionism is self-abuse of the highest order, not what we want to do at all. And to set the bar, do our best. We can do that. And to realize that this is the best I can do today, then this is the best I can do today, and to extend ourselves really some kindness and compassion, because the Rona has not sung her last note. It's just not sung her last note, and I think we are tired. It's like we set out to do a sprint, like a 100-yard dash, and it turned into a marathon, which would be one thing if you knew it was if you knew it were a marathon, you would have had your marathon shoes, your marathon headset, your marathon, endurance. But you think you're gonna sprint, and then somebody moves the finish line back to be a marathon. It's like where everybody's fatigued and out of it, Twilight Zone-ish. The anxiety thing has fatigued everybody in general, I think. It's in the air still. The masks are still going on. So really, that's what I'm saying, is just to accept that this is how it is. Maybe try to let go of expectations because they lead to disappointment in general. Again, another advantage of growing up in an alcoholic family. I don't have those. And just accept ourselves. Kindness, compassion, and do the best you can. That's it. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Champlain College campus. Have a mindful day.